We are here at Central Park in New York City, considered by most to be the heart of Manhattan and New York as a whole.
Well known and treasured by New York inhabitants and tourists from across the world, Central Park offers a peaceful, pure presentation of authentic nature in the iconic concrete jungle.
Although Central Park is seen as essentially a piece of preserved natural scenery, it must be noted that this urban landscape is almost entirely man-made.
You're right. Landscape architects Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Waugh were the designers behind this giant project, part of the Greensward Plan in 1858. Olmsted and Waugh were focused on creating a natural-looking landscape that would seamlessly blend into the city's grid system.
And even though he was in the business of landscape architecture, Olmsted regarded all of his park projects as works of art, making this video fitting curriculum for our art history course.
Central Park itself is a massive subject though, so for today's conversation, we will specifically be concentrating on the Bethesda Terrace.
The park's paramount purpose, according to Olmsted and Vox, was to provide refreshment, both physical and spiritual, to the citizens of New York City. Bethesda Terrace, home to the famous Angel of the Water sculpture and fountain, is a perfect example of this objective.
The fountain provided fresh water to the poor of New York at the time, right?
Almost right. The statue was created by sculptor Emma Stebbins to commemorate the Croton Aqueduct's opening, a complex water distribution system that carried water from the Croton River and Westchester County to reservoirs in Manhattan.
What an amazing feat! The sculptor Emma Stebbins also made history with this work, as she was the first woman to receive a major public art commission from New York City.
Inspiring. The statue itself is gorgeous.
And it's based on the biblical story in Jesus heals a paralyzed man in the Bethesda pool, thus.
The Bethesda fountain. And standing near the fountain, you get such an attractive view of the Bethesda Terrace and its entirety.
In the same way that Central Park is the heart of New York City, the Bethesda Terrace acts as the heart of Central Park, known as its most esteemed architectural feature. Designed by Jacob Ray Mould and Calvert Waugh, the space is a beautiful blend of Romanesque arches and innovative American design. The columns, piers, panels, walls, and balustrades are all constructed of New Brunswick sandstone, featuring a variety of shallow or deeply carved reliefs, as pictured here.
Stepping underneath the upper level of the terrace and into the lower passage exposes individuals to the breathtaking tile designs displayed on the ceiling. There are almost 16,000 clear glazed encaustic tiles fastened to this ceiling.
You know, this is actually a pretty unusual in architecture because encaustic tiles are fundamentally designed for flooring. The thickness of the tile is because it is made to accommodate mass pedestrian use. So, to find these hefty tiles on the terrace's ceiling is certainly a surprising choice.
They're actually used to be floor tiles that accompany the ceilings, but unfortunately, in the early 20th century, Central Park decided to discard them due to poor condition and lack of resources to maintain them.
How ironic.
Indeed. But did you know Bethesda Terrace once fell into serious disrepair? In the early 20th century, it was even used as an outdoor restaurant. By the 1960s, it had become known as a hotspot for drug activity.
That explains why, in the 1980s, the Central Park Conservancy and the Ekran-Krantz Group were brought in to begin restoration work.
Right. One major issue was the damage to the arcade tile ceiling, among other restoration challenges.
Absolutely. Let's look at more closely at the stone restoration process.
First, they did a full cleaning and removed all graffiti, paint, posters, and carbonate deposits.
Then they repointed all the stonework joints and honed flat surfaces to get rid of the flaking and unstable stone layers.
They also applied a stone consolidant to reinforce the deteriorated ornaments.
This is such a slow and steady process, but that's exactly why Bethesda Terrace is still so widely appreciated today.
The terrace still stands as one of the most iconic places in Central Park now.
Totally. The beautiful view of the terrace and the fountain really catches people's attention. That's why so many films and shows use it as a key location.
I remember in Gossip Girl, it's where Jack and Blair got married.
And Adam Sandler and Winona Ryder rode bikes there on a date in Mr. Deeds.
Those were some iconic, well-composed scenes.
Yes, and remember Central Park was originally designed to harmonize with nature, winding paths, scenic views, open meadows, and social spaces.
And Bethesda Terrace, in particular, continues to embody that original vision.